We begin this week the third Chumash of the Torah, known in rabbinic literature as Torat Kohanim, the Bible of the Kohanim, of the priests. This name is given due to the majority of the subjects discussed in the Chumash that deal with priestly matter, namely the sacrifices, offerings, laws of tithes and marital priestly laws and purity laws. The Chumash begins with Perashat Vayikra, describing the sacrifices and offerings that one would bring to the altar for all the reasons mentioned, as a voluntary contribution, as a penance, as a guilt offering, etc. According to the ancient Jewish educational tradition, Chumash and Perashat Vayikra were the first parts of the Torah that are taught to young children as they begin learning. The statement that our sages, our Chachamim, use to describe this initiation is, "Let the pure, innocent ones come and study the laws of purity." Now, this educational tradition is no longer practiced today in any Jewish school that I know of. However, I remember vividly when I was at that age in Lebanon, we started to learn Chumash in school. We began with Vayikra. Every year, as we start the reading of Vayikra, it brings me feeling of nostalgia. Indeed, I do feel that the new educational system is greatly lacking by not starting the education of young children with Vayikra. Many questions that tradition, saying that the subject matter is boring, is not practical, that the children will not benefit much by knowing the concept of korban, sacrifice, and its regulations. They continue to say that the laws of purity are quite elusive and not grounding like the stories of Bereshit, the first Chumash. I think the apprehension of teaching Vayikra first lies in the misunderstanding and the mistranslation of the concept of korban. We often translate korban to mean sacrifice or offering, and therefore it conjures up a mental picture of primitive bloody sacrifices and personal sacrifices and difficulties that one has to make to live as a full Jew. In reality, the word korban comes from the word karob, close, or lehit karev, to come close. The idea and meaning behind a korban is to come closer to God, to feel God closer to us, to find a closer way to approach God. It was a way to distance our ancestors who lived amongst idolaters, and those people practiced human, adult, and child sacrifices, unfortunately. And so when a person brings a korban, an offering, the idea is to come closer to Hashem, to offer his prayers and supplication, to understand the purity of our Torah. When young innocent children begin studying Chumash Vayikra, as they begin their journey in learning about God, the Torah and Jewish values, let them begin by getting closer to Hashem, bringing Him closer to them, and learn from the offerings to be givers to others and to their community. When they approach that with their purity of mind, without any self-interest at that age, they will see the beauty of our values and traditions. So let the pure innocent ones come and study the laws of purity. Shabbat Shalom.